Where am I? Which way did I go? Cheers, Oval! Welcome back, Guardians. Today I'll be covering the best build you can possibly run on a Void Warlock. So without further ado, let's break it down. On this Void subclass, you'll be choiced with 3 different super options: Nova Warp, Cataclysm, and Vortex. Forced between these 3 options, usually the best choice is going to be Cataclysm for the supercharge time, the crazy tracking, and the huge area of effect this super has to offer. And as for your class ability goes, you always have the 2 different options, Empowering Rift and Healing Rift. In PvP, I always say it's always a better idea to go with the Healing Rift, as it's going to be more practical, even if you're trying to use it for DPS. And I say this because it's going to enable you to get back into the fight better, but also it works really well with this build. For our movement ability, we do have a couple of different options. Here we're actually going to be using Blink, and we're going to pair this with the Astrocyte Verse Helmet in order to facilitate much greater movement than pretty much any other subclass, save perhaps the Strand Hunter. Blink can be very versatile if used properly, especially paired with this helmet. Since the helmet decreases the amount of time between blinks, it's actually possible to activate your second blink while still in midair, making you exceptionally difficult to track. We only get the one option to use for our melee ability, of course being the Pocket Singularity. This is perhaps one of the best melee abilities in the game, as it has superb tracking, pretty good range, a great knockback effect, and even leaves the target volatile if it doesn't take them out. Now there are several different grenade choices you can choose from. Personally, I love using Accent Bolts with this build. Although, I know that nowadays you see a lot of Void builds using scatter grenades. It's just that Accent Bolts become harder to shoot with this build than a standard Void set. So this is actually going to be a better option running this grenade than perhaps like a scatter grenade. For our aspects, we'll be employing Child of the Gods and Chaos Accelerant. Child of the Gods will activate for a short time after casting your Rift ability. Once enough damage has been done to your opponent, this Seeker will fly out towards your opponent, damaging them for 11 ticks per second. Each tick will also be used to siphon ability energy back to you, assuming you're running the Healing Rift, and will also cause a weakening effect on your adversary, making it a very good reason to cast your Rift as often as possible. The other aspect, Chaos Accelerant, will help you by enabling a supercharge of your grenade abilities, making the Voidlock perhaps the best choice for grenade spam, as these grenades can be very dangerous. And this is what I was referring to earlier, running the Accent Bolt over the Scatter Grenade, as there isn't much difference between the two when you supercharge them, but the Accent Bolt has the ability to spawn multiple different Seekers that become much harder to shoot than like your standard Void set. Moving on to our fragments, we'll be selecting Echo of Dilation for the enhanced radar it provides on crouching. And it also provides a +10 in intellect and a +10 in mobility. This extra boost fits nicely in a lot of builds. We're going to be running Echo of Remnants for the 2 extra seconds of tracking that's going to give to your Accent Bolts, which can be an eternity in PvP. Echo of Leeching for the health regen on melee final blows, which can be super clutch. Also, this will give you a +10 in resilience. We're also going to be running Echo of Expulsion for Bloom on Void final blows, which can lead to very easy double and triple kills after throwing your Accent Bolt. If your Accent Bolt actually lands and hits somebody and ends up defeating them, that will usually cause somebody right next to them to die as well from the Bloom. As for my overall stats, I run a respectable 5 mobility, 6 resil, 10 recov, 5 discipline, 100 intellect, and 3 strength. You don't need to spec a lot into your discipline or your strength if you use your Rift as often as possible. As I've already mentioned, so long as you're using your Healing Rift, successful ticks from your child will cause ability restoration. What's more, I run Bomber and Utility Kickstart as well as Outreach on my Bond to get my abilities back even faster every time I cast my Rift. Mobility isn't really all that important, but this will determine how far you blink vertically. I always try to get at least tier 6 resil on all my builds, as this will cause you to survive a fair amount of nonsense that Destiny has to offer. Recov at 100 is a basic must. I don't care what build you're running, it's imperative that you're able to get back into the fray if need be, and as a Warlock, it's even more essential for your class ability recharge rate. You could probably get away with 9 or 8 intelligence with this build, but I usually just stick with the max 100 because that's just how it works on my build. And there you have it. This is going to be the easiest build you'll ever run in your entire Void Warlock life. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and hit the bell for notifications. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, I post daily, so if you want to see more Destiny-related content, I'm your main man. Also, I stream every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, so feel free to follow my Twitch in the link below. But for now, Guardians, I will see you next time.